Someone said the magical words. I haven't seen the Splatoon trailer yet.
Who?
Oh, just a friend of mine.
What do you mean, friend?
Somebody probably doesn't keep up with as much as I do.
I've drawn so much Splatoon fan art, and it's actually been pretty good as well.
So this fan art already.
I have drawn 3 fan art images, and I've already seen porn of it. So,
I have to find it.
add some pictures. Yeah, Japan is really happy with Splatoon as well.
Right, I'm seeing a load of porn right now, and none of it involves squids. I'm not happy.
Well, that's a quote. I'm seeing a lot of porn right now, and none of it involves squids. I'm not happy. Adam Owen FTW E3 2014.
Just so that we all know, I did find it.
Oh, I'm happy you found your squid porn, Adam.
Hashtag E3 2014.
Well, I can already tell this episode's going to be called Sony and Squidporn, so that's good. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to something. E3 Simulator 2014, 3rd episode. I'm your host, Andrea. With me is Adam Owen.
Hello.
Emma Carlholm.
That would be me.
Tommy Hodakowski.
Hello.
And we might be joined by Sam Morris later. We will see. We're going to be spending an hour talking about Sony, which admittedly was before the Nintendo conference, but things got a little messed up. So we're going to be talking about them now. And let's just get right into it. I was very impressed by Sony's press conference overall. It was long, it had a lot of games, and Grim Fandango happened.
Oh yes.
That's all I really cared about.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about.
Well, let's start with that then. Let's talk about Grim Fandango.
So
Agent
yeah.
Calavera here and 2 friends.
So yeah, finally an entire audience are going to be able to download Grim Fandango, install it, and they won't have to come up with numerous different ways of pirating it in order to play the bloody thing.
What do you
And
mean
you can actually beat
pirating
the game.
it? Have you heard of eBay?
That's the thing. I do.
That's the
as
thing,
you-
I haven't.
Yeah. But I
let
showed
me
you.
tell
I
you,
have a
my
copy.
friend.
I have a copy of the game, but you have to put down. But as you showed earlier on Facebook, I have to download numerous different installers that help it work with Windows 7, and now I don't have to bother with any of that because you can just download it on PS4 and PS Vita.
Well,
Yeah, which is nice as well.
And
Since
PC.
The PC version actually crashes in a certain point.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you should be knowing the game is also coming out on PC. It's not PS4 and Vita exclusive.
Oh.
The enhanced version. They just, didn't announce the PC part for obvious reasons. It was announced later on. But I'm very excited for this. And if they do like a proper, like, and not just a minor port to make it work, like a proper enhanced, good-looking version, that would be really cool. I would love to see them do it with Escape from Monkey Island as well. Because that game hasn't aged well visually.
that game wasn't good
That's-
to begin
that's-
with,
I love that
as
game.
far as I'm concerned.
I think all that needs to be. There's a couple of things that need to be fixed about the game in order to make it properly stand out today, and one of them is controls.
Yeah.
It needs to actually have good controllers in it for a change.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Tomb Raider controls is fine for some games, but it wasn't fine for that.
Yeah, I can say that.
And yeah, it needs to be. I wouldn't say that graphics need to be edited too much. It doesn't need like a complete HD revision remake. I'd say all it really needs is to be able to be played in high resolution.
Yeah, I think the pre-rendered backgrounds is going to have to be remade, though. Like, I think the character models are fine because they're so heavily stylized that they work.
Yeah.
And like, just pop some like new textures on there, and it'll look great. But like, the pre-rendered backgrounds are like what, like 640 by 480 at most.
You know, it just made me realize that my copy is over a decade old.
Yeah, and like this is going to be played on widescreen monitors and systems. They're going to have to do something new with it, and I look forward to seeing what that new stuff is.
Yeah, but this, this is the thing that people have been clamoring for, well, over a decade,
Well,
pretty
this
much.
is
Like,
not.
especially when Steam and good old games earns their prominence.
But you know
So,
what's the most interesting part of this whole thing that people haven't really been talking about? It was announced at the Sony press conference through a made up letter from Tim Schafer that was really funny. And here's the thing. That makes me wonder, is Double Fine in on this? Because the game belongs to Disney, doesn't it?
Sony said that in cooperation with Disney, and I think Tim Schafer said online that it was the reason why it's exclusive on consoles for Sony is because they're cooperating in some manner. In that they've been able to pull some strings and use their connections with Disney
Yeah,
in order to get Grim Fandango out there.
because what I'm thinking is that they have. I'm thinking they might be basically having Double Fine make the remake, and what.
yeah, I think that's the gist.
Yeah, and that is really cool because, especially seeing how well Broken Age Part 1 turned out, I have full confidence in letting them tackle, like, if they actually are, like, let's say, fully remaking the game. I'm completely okay with Double Fine doing that.
Yeah, now it makes me wonder what. So, if they're going to reuse their in-house tech, because that would be, well, that would mean that their tech now works on PS4s, and that would imply that we can expect some other cool stuff from them.
Indeed.
I mean, I'd love to see stuff like Sam and Max Hit the Road and Day of a Tentacle also get this sort of treatment, even if that wouldn't be as pressing, because I don't think they would need too much to be remastered.
Day of the Tentacle would be lovely in a special edition style remake.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, what I'm sort of meaning is, the thing is, games, all those old LucasArts games work with Scum VM.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a Scum VM emulator that's been going on for ages and has been on nearly every console ever. So, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a hassle, and maybe a downloadable version of each game could help spread the word of them a bit, but there's always been a way in order to play these games, and the only games where that was sort of a problem was I think games like Grim Fandango and Escape from Monkey Island.
Yeah, but then someone started to work on basically like Scum VM equivalent for those games. And I wouldn't be surprised if they would incorporate some of that. Actually, if you've been following the Broken Age developer documentary, one of the side episodes with one of their programmers was actually, I think the guy just got a job in Double Fine by basically kind of recreating the Grim Fandango engine.
That's pretty cool, though. And of course, the immediate thought that comes to my head when I hear, like, oh, we're going to be re-releasing Grim Fandango, we're going to enhance it for PS4 and PC. Like, the first thought in my head is, of course, does that mean potential sequel afterwards? Maybe.
I wouldn't get my hopes up, because I sort of think that Grim Fandango is this perfect thing.
I would agree.
It was so wonderfully made that just getting it re-released and available to everyone, I wouldn't say no to a sequel, of course, but I wouldn't demand a sequel.
No, I wouldn't demand one either. But I never even considered the idea of a Grim Fandango sequel until now, and I sort of like the idea of that. We have Sam now here. Hello.
No,
Hello.
Hello. We're talking about Grim Fandango. Feel free to join in.
I was actually just wanted to add one last thing from my end.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly fortunate that I will be able to play Grim Fandango on a Vita. Like, just think about it for a second.
Yeah, it's
and
really
be amazed.
Sounds pretty nice.
That is really cool.
So is this a system seller?
I mean, I would. I mean, if I didn't already have a reason to buy the Vita, I might say it was. So this is really cool. It's one of the best adventure games of all time. And if they sort out the controls, which they easily can, you just make them directional because it would fit that game better. Or hell, if they can make the actual point and click work, that'd be even better, especially with a touchscreen. But this, I mean, it's probably the biggest surprise announcement at all of E3 by far. Is Grim Fandango coming back? I thought for certain that series was forever gone.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
I think that was a moment because I could kind of see from that joke letter presentation that Tim Schafer was coming on, and I thought, oh, cool, I'll get to cross off another bingo thing.
Broken
with
Age on PS4 then.
Yeah, so that's what I was
That was
expecting.
what I was thinking.
Broken Age on PS4, because I still think that is going to happen, but they're probably going to announce that when the entire game is complete.
Yeah.
It just wasn't this E3.
Yeah.
But instead we get Grim Fandango, and I'm not even going to try and complain with that.
No one should.
I mean, in a way, isn't that better? I mean, if we get Grim Fandango first, and then when Broken Age is finished, we get a finished, complete version on PS4 the year afterwards.
I'm not really too bothered about finding a new way to play Broken Age. I have the Steam version of it, so I'm sorted with that. But with Grim Fandango, I will very gladly take that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because I haven't dared playing the game in ages, because, hey, I know the game crashes always in that one spot.
Yeah.
Knowing that it won't crash there, at least I'm assuming that.
It would be great it would be great to report the crashes as well.
We want this port to be perfect.
A truly accurate port.
It'll be akin to Nintendo keeping in all of the bugs and glitches in Ocarina of Time on their 3DS remake.
Yeah. Not that happened, right?
Nope. They actually got new bugs in there though. Same with Wind Waker HD. The
Yeah.
new speedruns of Wind Waker HD is awesome. But we already spoke about Nintendo. So leaving Grim Fandango. I don't know, Sam. Since you just came on, what was your biggest thing that you liked at the Sony conference?
To be honest, I don't really know. There was lots of stuff. The PS Vita TV being released over here is good. Although I refuse to call it PlayStation TV.
Me too.
That's not a particularly good name. It's just going to confuse people. But that's good because I'd quite like one of those at some point. It's cheap. Obviously, no European price announced, but we can probably expect it to be about 80 quid. That's the Ouya completely dead then.
Yep.
That's also GameStick completely dead. Both of those gonna just be dead.
And all the other Android consoles that they
and all the other Android consoles. But let's face it, there's only 2 that are in shops, and those 2 are dead. Which is a shame because it's nice to have diversity, but they weren't very good. So
is it? By the way, okay, bit of an off-topic question, but is it actually pronounced Ouya? Because I was.
It's Ouya. That's how they say it when you turn on the console.
Because I was rewatching John Carmack's keynote from QuakeCon last year, this morning, and he keeps calling it the Ouya.
No one really knew until it came out, but when you turn it on, it goes, ooh, yeah, like for some reason.
Okay.
Because that's a good idea, apparently.
Well,
but
apparently it was.
Also,
Because now we know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's like the Gamecom. It has to say its name when it turns on, otherwise no one knows how to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was impressed with Sony's conference. Microsoft's is the first time they got a conference right, but it was just kind of dull for me, apart from Halo, and that's kind of still dull. EA's bored me so much that I decided to get the bus while it was on. And Sony's was the one that I actually was excited about. It didn't seem fake. Little Big Planet 3 looks great.
Oh yeah. Oh my, Oddsock. Oddsock was so
Oddsock,
cool.
Everyone in the room when Toggle happened was very happy. Yeah, no, Sony, I still think of the actual press conferences, they definitely did the best. And I'm struggling now to think of a specific thing that I liked. Apart from the fact that they had that Sontaran guy come out and talk about TV for a quarter of an hour. That was a bit weird. But yeah.
The part with What was the show's name?
It was
Powers? Yeah.
That was it.
Powers, that was probably the weakest part of the show.
Definitely.
I understand why it was there, and I didn't mind it since Sony's conference was way longer than everyone else. So 10 to 15 minutes of TV talk. I'll take that over the 40 minutes of TV we normally get at Microsoft's conferences.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost focus because I'm looking at the new Kirby game on Nintendo's Treehouse. What was I saying? Oh yeah. But I feel that was probably the worst. Actually, probably one of the worst parts of all the conferences. Even though I'm sure the TV show might be fine, and I understand why it was there. I think they would have done better just having a short TV focus and talking about TV in general, rather than bringing out about one TV show that it seemed most of the people who were actually watching the stream, that I saw at least, had never heard about the source material for, and was just really confused as to what was going on. I don't think that hurt them, and it hurt them a lot, because when it comes to people's impressions at E3, you're only as good as your last 10 minutes at the press conference. And even though Sony had been killing it the entire press conference and was my favorite conference overall at E3, I saw people who were excited just 10 minutes earlier all of a sudden say that Sony was basically the worst. So yeah. I think they did a mistake by doing that.
And hell, they could have pulled it back right at the end, because right at the end they were like, oh, we're announcing one last thing. And then everyone on Twitter I saw was like, is it Crash Bandicoot? Is it Last Guardian? Crash Bandicoot, Last Guardian. Naughty Dog came up. Crash Bandicoot, is it Crash Bandicoot? No, it's Uncharted. Fuck.
How did no one see that coming?
I don't know.
They announced Uncharted at the VG8. Of course they were going to show it at E3.
I know
Last Guardian doesn't exist.
I know,
yes,
but
it does.
Crash Bandicoot could have been Crash.
So Sony can claim it exists how much they want. I don't believe it exists. I think they're too proud to admit they cancelled it. Whatever the reason was, it was probably a good reason, but they're too proud to admit it. I might be wrong, and I would like to be proven wrong, even though I think the game won't be fun. But no, I don't believe Lost Guardian exists, and that's why I think it's funny every time people expect it to be revealed.
The thing that intrigued me most about the conference was the random bit of Ratchet and Clank in the middle.
Oh yeah,
was so very glimpsed over. They showed a trailer for the movie.
And said, we're remaking the first game entirely.
We're remaking the first game.
No one paid attention.
No. The thing is with that, the movie is meant to be based upon the plot of the first game. Okay, I get that. According to that trailer, they've forgotten the plot of the first game. Did they forget that Quark was actually a villain in that? Like, he was the bad guy.
Is Quark the green guy?
Yeah.
He seemed like a villain to me in the trailer.
Well, he just seems like his goofy self from the later games.
He seemed like Gaston. I like that.
It was
nice. But I don't know Ratchet and Clank, so don't...
Well, the first game is about them. Like, they find out the plot of Drek, and so they go around trying to stop it, and they try and find Captain Quark because they think he can stop it, and then it turns out Captain Quark's working for him. Whereas the movie seemed to be about Ratchet wanting to become a Galactic Ranger, which isn't the plot of the first game. Oh, well. There we go. That's just mine. I'm a big Ratchet and Clank fan, so...
Yeah, I thought the film looked fun, though.
It looked cool. Yeah. The animation's great. Even if it does just look like the FMVs from the games. The FMVs were so goddamn perfect.
That's what you want, though, isn't it? Like
Exactly.
It's sort of the opposite of what the Sly Cooper film looks to be, because the Sly Cooper has always been this cel-shaded, very 2D-looking game, even though it's 3D, and the trailer for that, the teaser for that was, like, realistic style all that stuff, and I was like, that seems very weird, but for Ratchet and Clank, it looks like it's working. I mean, granted, like I said, I haven't played the games. I played the one on PSP for like 5 minutes, but that's about it. I really should get, I think, isn't one of them on PS Plus this month or something?
I don't know.
Might be. I recall reading something about it. So I should probably get in on that. But no, the trailer looks fun, and I thought that was sort of the high point of the non-game stuff they talked about. Probably.
Definitely, yeah. And then they announced the game immediately afterwards, but didn't say anything about it, which was
they
odd.
should have shown the game, or at least shown like a logo for the game.
Yeah.
Because people were like, movie, and didn't pay attention to what people were saying afterwards, and that was poorly done of Sony.
Definitely, yeah. hey, a remake of the first game, and the first game is the one with the most charm to it. Although I'm worried that it's not going to be made by Insomniac, and every non-Insomniac Ratchet game has been kind of naff.
Alright.
Although, saying that, the last few Insomniac Ratchet games have been kind of naff. So.
Didn't Insomniac make that 4-player co-op thing?
They did, yes. And they also made the tower defense game, which was later ported to Vita.
There was a tower defense game?
There was, yeah. It was more like sort of Sanctum, where you run around at the same time. It was a tower defense game like that. They ported it to the Vita. They took 6 months to do it. Like, it was meant to have released 6 months prior. And it released, and it ran at like 10 frames a second and looked worse than the PSP game. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yes, Ratchet hasn't got the best time of it recently, so the movie's definitely looking up.
Yeah, that...
And, a remake is a remake. It's not as hard to make a remake as it is to, make a new game. So even if it's not the original developers, perhaps someone else could actually create the remake. Because they could just look at the source material. This is what the game is supposed to be. And then they just recreate.
They could, or they could do Sonic 1 Genesis on Game Boy Advance.
They could.
Wait, one more time. Sonic 1?
Sonic Genesis on Game Boy Advance. It's amazing how broken that game is. Like, people like to talk about Sonic 06. Sonic 06 is way more functional than Sonic 1 on Game Boy Advance.
Huh. I need to try this out.
Yeah, it's sad.
They tried to do what they did with the Android versions and just remake the engine, but the problem was they didn't have anyone who... Seemingly, they seem to forget how Sonic actually plays.
Yeah.
They also forgot what the sound effects are like, and they forgot pretty much everything, actually. The
best part is the fans had already made own like fan ports of Sonic 1 to Game Boy Advance that worked way better.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's not underestimate just how bad Sonic 06 was, though. I played through all of that.
It's bad, but it's not even the fifth worst Sonic game. I played through pretty much all of them, and I played through all of it as well. I
consider it pretty much the day where all innocence inside me died. I mean, when you get to the bit where Silver spends the majority of the game going on about an Iblis trigger, I spent that whole game just sort of thinking, this is what I chose to do with my life. There are moments of Sonic 06 I like quite a bit. The problem is just how incredibly unfinished the game is. It came across as the pre-alpha build of the game. Yeah, well, it is. It is the pre-alpha build. There's actually like content that was meant to be cut in the final game that happens in cutscenes. There's a moment where the dialogue references items that are no longer in the game.
Don't you see two Sonics at one point?
You might. You do. You can do. Yeah, I think it's easy to get. But like, for example, there's we're talking Sonic 06 now for some reason. I'm gonna finish this bit and then we move on. In Sonic 06, there's one of the things that influences the plot is a thing called the Scepter of Darkness, which is this like big artifact that causes all the bad stuff to happen. Yeah, I saw it. I remember that. Yeah, and it was only ever in cutscenes. Yeah, but in one of the cutscenes, when Rouge Bat comes back from the future, man, this plot is stupid. She's called up by the people at the agency about having retrieved the Scepter of Darkness, and they don't call it the Scepter of Darkness. They talk about the Book of Darkness. There is no Book of Darkness in the game anywhere because they cut that. Still in the cutscenes though. It's sad. So I was away for about a few minutes. What did I miss other than Sonic 06 talk? We spoke about Ratchet and Clank and PlayStation TV. Okay, let me see. I'm looking right now on all the things that were announced. There was Dead Island 2. That had another CGI trailer. That was actually funny, though, instead of trying to be overly emotional when it wasn't supposed to.
I loved that trailer.
I didn't find it funny, but I can say it was a humorous trailer, which makes me wonder, does that mean the game will not be humorous this time? And yet it comes from Jaeger, who developed Spec Ops The Line.
What?
They are developing Dead Island 2. Well, that changes everything.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
So you are kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you. Jaeger.
You said you were.
You said you were kidding. No, I wasn't. But
I don't know. But either way, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I'd definitely do it.
Because
because I was on my fastest track to dismiss it. Because I'm kind of getting tired of zombie games.
I'm tired of zombie games, and I'm tired of Dead Island, which is amazing, seeing as it's only been one game and one spin-off. But
don't you want the Zomba? The MOBA they did. Everyone wants that.
No, I kind of avoided a lot of zombie stuff. I think the last zombie thing I've watched or played or seen is World War Z, starring Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
That was it, and that was alright, I guess. But that's sort of where I am with zombies right now. I could go either way. Hopefully this will be fun and fix all the problems everyone had with Dead Island.
Well, speaking of zombies, we had zombie werewolves in the Order 1866.
Oh, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in the game. People are really, and for good reasons, I guess, very snarky about the game and its QTE heavy stuff. But there wasn't. I mean, as much as people claim there wasn't that much, or even maybe not even any QTE in that trailer.
There was one.
There was one, okay, yeah.
There was one, and it looked like a Quantic Dream one. It had a floating triangle.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, the way they're doing QTEs actually could be interesting, because what they're doing is basically, in the cutscenes, your QTEs can actually be like active choices that aren't just press triangle for this and square for that, but rather like you actually will be controlling the camera, looking around as a character during the cutscene until you can find something that will trigger the QTE. And that could be really interesting. But of course, the problem is the developer said that they were inspired by making movies about the game, so people have already decided that means the game would be bad, which isn't really true, but I understand why people think that when we have games like the David Cage games, so yeah.
Yeah, so it means that David Cage walked past the office one day and did some Jedi mind trick, and now...
I was so glad we didn't get a David Cage appearance this year. I was so worried when they said, "Oh, and here's a very famous developer," and they talked about Suda 51. When they said, "Oh, here's a very famous developer," I'm like, "No, it's David Cage time."
He was almost polygons.
The fact that this is the first time I've thought about David Cage in connection to E3 shows that Sony is learning.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God that they've learned that maybe we don't want to see David Cage talk about whatever shit he's doing now.
He was almost on my E3 bingo, and I changed him for Lorne Lanning, and I'm so glad he did, because Lorne Lanning was on the stream today for PlayStation. So that means all my E3 bingos ticked off.
Nice.
I failed it all.
I failed quite badly at E3 bingo, Adam.
The problem was I was too specific with several of them.
Yeah.
Stuff like Star Fox on 3DS. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, Wii U.
Yeah,
I did. When it was leaked, I then asked Andrea, "Hey, can I change it now?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, "I will fight you," and you're like, "No, you won't," and I cried.
Pretty much.
I'm still sad I didn't get.
Speaking of fighting,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if David Cage would be engulfed in a legal battle with Ellen Page.
I think she said she wasn't going to sue.
But it probably means that they're not... At this point, all of those creepy looks have been justified, and she's probably not working with David Cage again.
Yeah,
I something?
Do you remember the naked Ellen Page thing from last year?
Oh, yeah!
Basically, normally that wouldn't be a problem, because there would be no need to properly detail like nipples and genitals, because, well, it'll be covered.
Yeah.
Like The Sims does. I mean, The Sims, unless you buy a very specific skin, not that I did that when I was younger.
You bought your skins?
No, but if you patch the game
yeah,
to have realistic looking stuff. But unless you do that, then you won't see it. You'll just see just Barbie dolls. But
yeah.
And that should have been the case with Beyond Two Souls, because, well, yes, she has a shower scene, but it's not as if we see any explicit content in that. So why did you detail the explicit content?
Yeah,
because David Cage
owns owns a little scrapbook filled to the brim with Ellen Page pictures.
Yeah, that still creeps me out. Fuck. I mean, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if after that quote unquote scandal, Sony was basically like, okay, let's just put Cage aside. Let's forget about Cage.
Yeah, that may just be what
that
happened.
was.
So basically, that scandal may have saved us from Cage at E3.
It saved us from Beyond Two Souls 2 even more racist Indian stereotypes.
You know,
so
when the trailer for I still can't say the name without sighing. The Rise of the Tomb Raider appeared, and the first thing you saw was a psychiatrist talking to Lara. We didn't really see it was Lara yet. I thought, oh no, it's wannabe Beyond Two Souls. But I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah. What else was announced? One of the best things about the Sony conference.
I have a list of things.
One of my favorite bits of the whole Sony conference was all the indie games. All of them. I mean,
this is why I don't understand when people say the Vita didn't make a showing, because all of these indie games are coming to Vita, pretty much.
I mean, it was great to see
the Devolver section.
Oh yeah,
I was like, yes, please, yes.
And regarding that section, I can confirm that Shuhei Yoshida, CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment, is now Brohei Broshida on Twitter.
Nice.
I mean, I just like the idea that at an E3 press conference, Fork Parker can be name dropped, and that will mean something.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Devolver deal partnership thing, that was fantastic to see. The Magicka 2 trailer was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was so good. Magicka 2
Actually,
learned the spell.
Speaking of Mr. Yoshida, the reaction he got when he appeared, that was incredible.
It really
people
was.
do like him, and for good reason.
I mean, people say that, and with very good reason, that Nintendo are very good at that sort of thing, making personalities out of their executives. We all know who Reggie is. We all have different ideas of what memes surround him, what personalities surround him.
Yeah.
Sony are managing it. Sony have sort of cottoned on to that, I think, and sort of told their executives.
Well, yeah,
you know,
they even brought up Prototype Reggie on stage at one point. Whose name escapes me now, but the guy who localized games for Japan. He looked and spoke with the same manners as Reggie does. It was great.
But I think the big indie game showing, if you could say that there was one, was No Man's Sky.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Fuck
Yes. Oh,
This is why this may be
Yes.
one of the best E3s that I've seen.
Yes.
A game like No Man's Sky
Yes,
can
Man's
command an entire audience at a press conference.
And now Emma can be negative about it.
Yeah, I'm like, so what's the point? What am I doing?
You are here to rain on all of our parade. Go get them. We're having the most wonderful.
This is the game I've wanted since I was 10.
Same here.
Well, yeah. So it's great that you're getting it.
Yeah, as in, this is the most excited parade that I've seen in a long time. There are balloons everywhere. There are clowns performing. Everyone got a free beer on the way in. You are now here with the water cannon, prepared to destroy us all. Go get us.
Actually, you know what? Okay, this is a little podcast crossover, but I've seen Black Sabbath in Berlin this Sunday, and at some points in the show, Ozzy was handling a bucket of water and applying that on the crowd. So it's not always a bad thing.
So, are you saying Emma's the Ozzy Osbourne on the podcast?
Yeah. Although...
Well, she's not the kind of person you think she is.
Significantly less vulgar.
But yeah, No Man's Sky. Everyone's freaking out about this game, and I don't know. The person I was watching E3 with, both of us were like, "Okay, yeah, this is kind of cool. So, what's our mission? What are we doing? How do I win?
Well, I guess
what am I doing?"
You could sort of say that about Minecraft in a way.
I don't play Minecraft.
Minecraft has an endgame though.
Yeah.
It's not a very widely promoted endgame.
It really isn't, because it kind of is the weakest part of the game. But I would actually I mean, we don't know much about the game yet, apart from that every player will start on their own planet, and will be in the same universe, and we'll be able to travel to every planet and all that stuff, and it sounds amazing. But I can see it as pretty much the absolutely most perfect digital role-playing environment ever. Because you can basically just basically have your own sci-fi adventure and actually have it be completely unscripted and yet completely controlled within a very, if it works, well-made environment. Like, I just love the idea of, like, having a crew of friends, like, all join up on, like, Skype or Mumble or TeamChat or whatever, and jump into No Man's Sky, be on a planet, and they just go out and exploring a whole new world. And, like, that's what I've always wanted. That's what I wanted sport to be. That's what I wanted, well, actually, even Minecraft. That's the kind of thing I wanted out of Minecraft. And no game has ever been able to deliver on this. And at first, you could say, oh, it's a trailer, trailers lie all the time, think about Ubisoft. And sure, but this is 3 people, an indie studio, who are lucky enough to show off their game by footage they've just captured themselves. I am going to trust these guys. And maybe I'm stupid for that, I don't know. But I am so excited to basically just have the most personal sci-fi adventure of all time in a video game in No Man's Sky.
Want to be able to look at the stars, pick one, and just go to it.
Yeah, that was the best part with the. Did you ever play the flight sim? What's it called? It's currently in alpha, I think. It's free to download. Also in the game where you start on a moon, I think, and you need to power up your spaceship, and you can just go out and explore new moons and stars. That game has a plot and an end game, but it's also very much like when you start the game, you can only see stars in the sky and nothing else, and you're on a planet. When you enter your spaceship and you start looking up and you go towards stars, every star, I believe, like, is a position in the game, and it has, like, stuff. It's really cool. It runs terribly on my computer, but it's really cool. I don't remember the name of it. I will look it up while you guys talk.
Yeah, because that sounds like something I want to know the name of, because it's somewhat similar. I want to know. But yeah,
if you want
but I'm happy that you guys are getting No Man's Sky. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a very unique game, so knock yourselves out. I just really don't see the point myself, but it's a really unique game.
I know that,
and it looks well made. I mean,
Yep.
the 3 people making it, that just blows my mind because it looks great. And Andrea was talking about trusting these guys. I see no reason not to.
Yeah, I understand why people aren't, because we just had, like, we had so many obviously scripted gameplay trailers this E3. Rodina is the game. Rodina. If you have a computer that's better than mine, which you probably do, play it. It's free. At least it was free when I downloaded the alpha. You can do a pay what you want model to get later versions. And it's really cool. There's also a really good, if you can't run it, Conrad Simon, who was on the first episode of this podcast, did a let's play of it on his YouTube channel, CH Simon. So you can check it out there as well. Rodina. But yeah, let's get back to the conference.
Another game that was very big at Sony this year was Little Big Planet 3. I did not expect that, but I am happy.
Yeah,
Lost Vikings meet Little Big Planet.
Yeah, we mentioned the Oddstock earlier, and Oddstock is perfect.
Yeah, he is. I'm looking at the pictures of all. That's the thing. I was always when Little Big Planet first came out, I just sort of looked at Sackboy and thought he looked really good in a lineup of similar things. And then Little Big Planet 2 didn't do that. Neither did Karting, and I thought, oh, so it's just a case of he's a bland character that you can pretty much insert anything onto, and there's not going to be that much that will change about him. But I like these new designs for characters.
Toggle!
Toggle's amazing.
Look, did you see that tongue? Oh my god.
I mean, this is a really good E3 for handcrafted, knitted / well, just created characters in general, because between this and Yoshi, this was the cutest E3 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, PS4 Little Big Planet, I'm down.
Also on PS3. Little Big Planet 3 is going to be both on PS4 and PS3.
Wait, really?
Yep. And
Okay.
of course, all the map stuff from previous Little Big Planet games will also be available in the third one, and
Excellent.
the PS4 version will enhance the graphics to PS4 level automatically.
Yeah,
So
that was so impressive.
you already have like a amazing game in Little Big Planet 3 guaranteed from the get-go.
Great. Because I mean, that's the
Pretty
biggest
much.
thing they cocked up on the Vita version is that even though the tools are the same as Little Big Planet 2, you can't play levels from 2 for no reason. I can't see why not. But yeah, if you can play right the way back to the first game, that's great.
Yep.
There was also a lot of speaking of PS3, there was a lot of additions and ports this year for PS4 from previous consoles, with the big one being Grand Theft Auto 5.
Hell yeah, and PC. Oh,
And
yes.
Xbox One.
While Diablo 3 is getting characters from Last of Us in it, sort of like the big fungusy things.
Wait, really?
That was such a weird thing that they were in the middle of talking about another game. What game was it? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, also Diablo 3 is getting Last of Us character. Back to the game I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think they were talking about Last of Us Remastered.
No, they weren't. Last of Us Remastered was way later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were talking about a completely different game. Like, I forget what the game was now, because it was a game I didn't care about.
Was it?
Oh yeah, because they were all. Oh, and by the way, on Sony platforms you get extras. And by the way, have you seen Diablo 3?
Yeah, it was weird.
What else was there? I'm going through this joystick list of all the things that happened. PlayStation TV.
And we spoke about that. It's
Oh.
cool to finally see it, and it will kill the Oya.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
PlayStation Now as well, I think.
Oh yeah,
You know, I kind of skimmed through that segment because there was a man in a suit and a tie, and I didn't quite like his speaking mannerisms.
It's cool, but it's US only so far.
so far, yeah. The US open beta starts in July, and and the full version will launch.
Okay, so I won't be surprised if then it will be like UK after a year, Germany after 6 more months, and then maybe someone else.
We'll see. I mean, this is the thing we have to remember. As much as E3 is a worldwide event online, at the actual event, it's very much an American event. So we're probably going to have to wait to Gamescom in August until we hear about the European details.
Yeah, but you know, it's not like it's not like the bank accounts and credit cards end with the US border.
No, sure.
You know, it's kind of, it's always disappointing to be treated as like second class citizens whenever Europe gets involved.
Yeah. It's sad, really.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
And
For
then
no
the
reason, actually.
Yeah, most of the time.
Especially
And then the one
since-
time we get something before the US, oh my god, the internet explodes.
Yeah, especially since we pay more for this stuff.
Yeah. Some of the stuff I don't understand, like Kingdom Hearts 3D. Why did that get such a limited release? Why is it £35 on Amazon?
Because
It's a 2-year-old game. That's ridiculous.
Because no one expected Kingdom Hearts to be popular for whatever reason.
It's fairly popular here.
I think it's more because at that point the 3DS was selling terribly, and Square were like, okay, so don't put out too many copies, then no one will buy it. Which is probably true for the time being, but yeah.
That would
in that
explain
case,
why
sell it
quite-
on the eShop then
Yeah,
as well.
That'll be £35 as well.
Yeah, it would be. But it's not quite as bad as Theatrism, which is currently like 45.
Well, that's
Yeah,
going to get
but-
curtain coil in a minute, so
Oh yeah, exactly.
we're going to get a good version of that.
Yeah, that's why they're not putting the Final Fantasy, the song, John's whatever, theater rhythm, whatever. They're not putting that up on the eShop, I think, just because they know that all the content in that game is going to be available in the second game, so they want you to buy the single one instead.
Yeah, which by the way looks awesome.
It does.
They have RPG
want
mode,
it.
and like you can like quest around, you can play versus, and it looks really cool.
I want it so bad.
Yeah.
This is so Sony related.
Yeah, this is totally.
Well, Sony, sure. They had a gameplay demo that I saw before the conference of Far Cry 4,
Oh yes.
which looks a lot of fun. It looks like Far Cry 2 which was what I wanted. I wanted more Far Cry 2 and my Far Cry 3, so I'm very happy about that.
When Far Cry 4 was announced and it got a really negative response, I felt from a lot of people, as if to say, "Oh, great, not another Far Cry game." And I was a little confused as to why, because I was just like, "Well, this is only the 4th one."
It's actually the 10th one.
How many re-releases of Far Cry 1 did they do?
1.
Well, how are there 10 of them?
Okay, fine. Let me give you a little history lesson about. Actually, I think it's 8, not 10. Sorry. So it's Far Cry, the HD re-release, Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, Blood Dragon.
Far Cry Blood Dragon.
The 3 different Instincts games.
That's what I meant. I kind of figured they were just expansions.
No, they're not. They're completely new games. Well, actually, one is a new game, one is a sequel, and one is a compilation that's HD-fied. The Wii game. That's 10.
Do we want to count that?
No, but it still counts. And the rail shooter, which name escapes me, that was in arcade. So 11 Far Cry titles, technically. That's
the Wii game, I saw a
it.
video of someone just throwing grenades at someone's head, and I kind of figured, well, that will do for me for that
game. That game is bad, but the controls were really solid for an early Wii FPS game. Like they were really good.
Yeah, back to PlayStation.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Far Cry 4. That was why I brought it up.
Yeah, as in...
It looks really fun. I love the new villain, whose name I think is Pagan?
His name's Troy Baker.
He's Pagan. And contrary to what we thought, what people thought at the reveal, he's not white, which we have to mention. He's Asian.
He seems mixed race.
And apparently so is the main character. Because we found out in the gameplay demonstration with the narration that was not on the Sony conference, but it was on YouTube, that the main character is returning home to basically his native homeland at the start of the game. That's the cutscene we got to see at the Ubisoft conference. Yeah. So that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice. And the open world looks more like Far Cry 2 and less like Far Cry 3. Not islands, but instead like this very exotic environment without the water stuff, which I really, really like. The co-op system, I think, sounds far better than the stuff they had in Far Cry 3. In Far Cry 3, they basically had a Left 4 Dead style co-op campaign by a different developer, Swedish developer, the ones making the Division now. What they're doing here instead is anytime in the game on the open world map, you can basically pause the campaign progress and the main story missions and just have drop out co-op and do co-op stuff, be it co-op missions or just going on into the open world and ride elephants and shoot things, fly a helicopter.
The co-op on PS4 is that it's got this DS download play kind of thing where only one person needs to own the game. That's fucking great.
That is really cool. As long as other people have a PS4, they don't need the game to play with you. That is really nice, and I hope that becomes a standard. I want that to become the new standard.
It's been the standard on the Nintendo handhelds since like 2005. I don't see why it can't happen on home consoles.
Yeah. It used to be the standard with PC games, so why not?
Yeah.
Spawn copies.
So that was really cool. I'm very excited for Far Cry 4. Then they also showed off. they showed off a trailer for Battlefield Hardline. We spoke about that briefly on the EA episode. But since two of you weren't on the EA talk. Any thoughts on Battlefield Hardline, Sam and Emma?
It was alright, I suppose. It is a shooty gun game with Levolution in it again.
Yeah.
The only thing that strikes me is why don't the police just let them go? The amount of damage they're causing, the amount of people they're killing, like, it would be better just to let them go. They level a building with a crane. Let them go. They won. Give them a fight.
That's not the Michael Bay way, man.
If they let them go, then the terrorists won, you fucking
Yeah, they
Nazi.
have won. They've leveled a building with a crane. They've won.
I don't know what's wrong with you, you dumbass European, but we live in America.
Yeah.
You fucking pansies.
Okay then. I'm glad we got those.
Goods.
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
11. Battlefield Hardline is so destructive because America, basically.
It's a weird. I mean, it's basically
It's
a DLC for Battlefield 4, only it's a full product. I don't know. I tried the beta for a little bit, and I mean, it's Battlefield 4.
You get into the beta? I hate you.
It wasn't difficult. Isn't it still open?
No.
Oh.
You had to sign up with, and only some people got in. I have not received my email. I signed up like the first 2 minutes.
Oh, well, if you sign up and you're not getting anything, then you just hit refresh and sign up again. I think I signed up like 4 times.
So did I. I've been waiting for an email since the conference from the PS4. And it said it was going to be easy to get in on PS4, but no.
Oh, I'm doing it on Origin Master Race, you know.
No. No, those words don't go together. Shut up. Actually, they're actually starting to feel like they're better than Steam these days. But yeah. No, going back to the conference. What else was there? We have a few minutes left.
Okay, I've got a few items. So, Destiny, I'm finally interested in this.
Yes.
Yeah, all it took from me, really, was to hear Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, it's basically it feels like Halo in all but name.
It does. I am very excited. I'm getting into the alpha in 2 days, I think. And I'll be
pretty much
that.
Halo 6.
There was a part of that robot thing that Peter Dinklage was voicing that did sort of feel like, what if Portal 2 was not a comedy?
Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly my thought. I watched the trailer and was like, it's what I want the Portal 2 to be. Except without portals.
Well, it was originally without portals.
True.
Now you're thinking of Destiny.
Oh, when they name dropped Destiny in the trailer, I cringed so hard.
But also, something
there was Uncharted.
Failed to mention Suda 51's Manhunt, I guess.
Yeah, it's free-to-play Manhunt.
Yeah, and the thing I'm most curious about is how involved he's going to be.
Yeah,
he won't be that involved.
That's the thing. Was this even a Grasshopper game?
Yeah.
It was that. Okay, because I didn't see the Grasshopper logo, but I guess I just missed it then. Yeah, I'm also into how much they're going to be involved. But yeah, it's going to be a free-to-play Manhunt clone, apparently. It looked interesting, I guess, but then again, like, yeah, how much is Suda going to be involved? Which style of Suda is it going to be if he's involved? Like, you don't know anymore. Like, they have somehow made a niche name a marketing product, and I don't like it.
Apparently, this game is basically a new version of the previously announced game called Lily Bergamo.
Wait, really?
Yes. They've confirmed that Lily Bergamo is pretty much cancelled, and it's all been redone as this new game called Let It Die.
Oh my god. What?
I can't remember. I think this was on Destructoid or somewhere, but they also confirmed that the character of Lily herself apparently did not fit with the game itself, so she's been taken out as well.
This sounds like a Play for Real article.
Wait, what?
Is this something what the website is called? Is it Play for Real? The one that's basically the Onion for video games?
I'm looking at computerandvideogames.com. They are future publishing magazine, so this is a real stuff.
Wow, that's disappointing. I was actually interested in that game. Oh well. Well, let's hope Suda 51's Manhunt is good, I guess.
And also, he will be executive director, which is a similar title he held for Killer is Dead and Black Knight.
Okay, I don't care anymore.
Okay, so that died pretty quickly.
Let it die.
Okay, so there were also 2 people who worked on Journey, and for some reason they thought that that gives them the freedom to come up with very pretentious game titles.
Which game was this?
Pretentious game title.
There were many of those.
I remember. I seem to remember it was like 4 letters long, and one of the letters had a weird accent.
Oh, it was like Atru or something, or Abdul. No,
not
Absu?
Journey.
Absu. Yes.
Yeah.
That definitely looks fun.
Well, okay. On one hand, I can see that this is search engine optimization. Yeah, that much is true. But yeah, it looks interesting. It definitely got my attention.
It looked like
I was pretty glued to the screen as they were showing it, and then I saw the title and I was like, oh.
It looked as if what if Undertow was an adventure game.
It sort of reminded me a bit of the previously announced Xbox One game, Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, that too. Speaking of pretentious names. And speaking even more pretentious names, can we please talk about Entwined? Which looks awesome. And when I first heard it, I thought they said we made this game Entwine, and I was really confused.
Well, it's out. It's out.
Yes, it is.
Now.
Yeah, it's out now.
It's about a fish and a bird having sex and becoming a dragon.
Yeah, it's out.
That is the most metal thing ever, and
like
somehow it's so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said at the night, like, oh, it's released tonight, and I immediately just thought, haha, no, it isn't. You don't update the PS stores on any other day but Wednesday.
Yeah, but I bet it does in the US.
It does in the US, because of course it does. But it's out now.
Yep.
It came out today, so...
That is really cool.
So does anyone care about Uncharted 4?
I do, actually, and I don't know why.
The title's cool.
Here's the thing. My story with Uncharted is basically I hate the first game, I really liked the second game a lot, and the third game bored me to tears. The fourth game, for some reason, that trailer really made me interested. And I don't know really what it might be that that Drake is slightly older and might not be as much of an ass because of that.
You're just so hyped that Nathan died.
It might be the fact that Nathan obviously dies at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're so
has
hyped
has a good name, which reminds me of Among Thieves, the second game, which I like.
Would he die? Is it obvious that he's going to die in the same way that it was obvious Snake was going to die at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4?
Well, it's
I would say yeah.
And let's face it, there's only really one way to get out of that.
I mean, people say maybe Sully dies, but no. With the way that trailer was built up, this was clearly this is going to be Drake doing some personal thing, like a last stand. He's going to do something to save someone or something, and he's going to die in the process. It's going to be that, and I think that's a good thing because I think this is Naughty Dog, basically is killing off their franchise.
I reckon they won't show him dying. They'll like cut away before they'll like have him do some last stand, and then he'll be mortally wounded lying there, and then it'll end. That's normally what they do, because these studios don't like killing off their beloved characters. But if they don't show it, then, you know.
But you need to see the character laying there on the ground, saying something dramatic, telling someone that you must pass on my knowledge or whatever. I don't even know, I haven't played these games, but, you know, he has to be like, oh, he'll meet up with Lara Croft, and then we learn that this is a prequel to Tomb Raider. Lara Croft learned how to be a Tomb Raider by learning from Nathan Drake, even though Nathan Drake totally ripped off Tomb Raider. And this is why it's a time paradox, and this ties into the crossover with Doctor Who.
Yep.
Basically, yeah, Doc Brown just enters the screen and says, we got to go back.
In the train, of course, because the train DeLorean's the best one.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what else are you going to go in? A crap DeLorean? No one likes that.
So wait, do you mean that the train level in Uncharted 2 was actually a time-traveling train?
Yes.
If we just assume that... What character do we want to be the time-traveling one that sets everything up in Uncharted? Because that there is the Doctor.
Sully's mustache.
Yeah.
Okay, Sully's mustache is the Doctor.
But no, I'm actually interested, and I hope it will get. I hope they make the enemies not shit. As in, I hope they will. Yeah, I hope they fix the fact that they.
I hope they will make the gameplay not shit.
Yeah, I really hope they fix up the gameplay, which we can always hope.
For example, bullets that actually kill people.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Irritate them.
So I've just gone into the PlayStation blog to find something that really appeals to me. La Mulana Portable on Vita. I need a Vita now. See, that's all it took, Sony. That's all you need to get me excited for your bloody console. Maybe Nintendo can do it next.
They've announced an actual game for the Project Morpheus.
Oh, really?
What?
It's called The Assembly.
Oh.
What is it?
It is by Endreams, and the article is just lots of rooms at the moment. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I like how they're all tilted as if to say, hey, guess what? You can tilt your head.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pretend you're watching Battlefield Earth.
It is from the creators of XI, an alternate reality game, according to Wikipedia. PlayStation Home content.
Oh, fuck.
Lewis Hamilton, Secret Life.
That's the best name.
And Facebook games. So we're in good hands here.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, they're a British developer. It might be all right.
Yeah. Go
Literally
on,
only saying that because of racism.
What?
No. Yeah, no. Yeah, it looks all right. It looks pretty in pictures, but it's just some rooms. There's not really much to say about it.
Unless this is Stanley Parable 2, Parable Harder, then there's not much.
No. It looks like you can hold up a phone in the game.
Oh, good.
And it makes the
good.
skybox disappear.
That's always a good thing in games. Games where you hold up phones are the best games. Watch Dogs.
Yep.
Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
That's actually a good one, so yeah. Actually, Watch Dogs might be a good game. I just am really pissed off with some things about it.
No more heroes.
You could
You
use
could
the
actually hold up the Wiimote.
Don't you do that in GTA 5 as well?
Yeah, GTA 4 you did, at least.
Yeah. So was that it for Sony?
I think that's it for Sony.
That's all they did.
That's
There's a
they-
Final Fantasy, but it's a...
Yeah, Final Fantasy Agito HD. That's Type 0 HD.
Type 0,
That's really cool. And
they originally announced it for Vita, and then went, oh, by the way, it's not Vita, it's PS4.
Square Enix announced it for PS4 and Xbox One, and Sony on the Twitter said, coming out on Vita! And I'm like, oh, sorry, we're not Vita.
Yeah.
And also, just as an addition, Final Fantasy Explorers on 3DS is basically Crystal Chronicles, but with the old Final Fantasy jobs and online co-op for players on the 3DS. It looks really fun. That was announced today.
They announced a whole load of free-to-play games on both Vita and PlayStation 4, such as a Fat Princess sort of spin-off thing, and Pain. I really loved that game on PlayStation 3, so I'm glad that's coming back.
Yeah.
I think
it was a really strong conference.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I think with the exception of EA, every single company gave a pretty strong showing. All four companies, Nintendo, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Sony, they all did really well this year.
Yeah. Although Ubisoft still had the weird crowd of people dancing for some reason.
Hey, that part was actually better than some other parts of Ubisoft's thing.
That's very true, yeah.
Not just that, but they followed up the Just Dance Dancing Festival with really depressing Division trailer, so I think it all evened out in a very whiplashy sort of way.
Yeah. Well,
you know what the best part was? Speaking of Ubisoft, how they go, we start off with Far Cry 4, and at Ubisoft, we start big and we go even higher. So here's Just Dance.
Well, to be fair, they ended on Rainbow Six Siege, which, yes, oh my fucking god, yes, I've waited so long for a new Rainbow Six.
Yeah, that's definitely bigger, but, Just Dance, right after that statement, it's like, okay.
I don't know, we spent a lot of hours lining up for Just Dance at GameX. And we didn't even get to play it.
Yep.
So I don't think we're allowed to critique them for that.
That's your fault, though.
No, I was not the one. I was not the one who pushed for Just Dance.
Really?
No, it was
then
not me.
Was it?
It was One or two you went with. I don't remember who was.
Oh yeah, I'm also looking at the PlayStation blog to see one question on there. How can you play Surgeon Simulator with a DualShock 4 controller?
How can you play Surgeon Simulator? Period.
Yep.
That's the point of the game.
One of the pictures has him shoving the intercom into the guy's body, so I think that's the answer.
All right. Well, this was a fun podcast. Adam Owen, you have a Twitter?
Adam Owen FTW.
Emma?
Kid_N7, that is KIDD_N and the number 7.
Tommy?
Tomalinsky.
Sam?
I'm spam_cat.
And I'm Andrea_Ritsu. Thank you all for listening. And tomorrow will be overall E3 podcast. I don't know how long that will be, but it's going to be a bunch of fun stuff, and we'll talk completely free about all the stuff at E3. Thank you for listening, and see you tomorrow. Bye.